So let's get started. Why not, right? Yeah, we're really excited about what we want to explore today. So what do we want to explore? How to integrate cutting edge indices and strategies with the top selling death benefit indexed universal life products that can offer your clients both growth potential and a lasting legacy. Our expert panel will delve into innovative approaches, including the PRISM Booster Strategy and the S&P PRISM Index, to help you deliver more consistent positive index returns, greater product stability, and enhanced policy flexibility. Whether you're already affiliated with DMI or considering a partnership, this session is designed to equip you with valuable insights to elevate your practice. So joining us today are three industry leaders. First, from John Hancock, we've got Dan Alhage. Am I saying that right, Dan?
Dan Alhage. Yeah, thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, and he is the marketing development director at John Hancock with over 15 years experience. And then Amy Carcieri, regional vice president, bringing years of experience communicating product knowledge through IMO channels. And we're also joined by our good friend Stephen Poppy at Annexus, bringing 30 years of experience to the conversation. So I said we're not a whole lot off that 1,000 number. And our very own Josh Rem, whose innovative strategies have just helped countless financial professionals like you enhance client outcomes. So really appreciate everybody being here, and those that are attending. Appreciate you guys the most. So appreciate it. Josh, anything to add before we get started? Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about this. This is a good webinar because when I talk to you advisors, most of you accept and appreciate the basic value proposition of an IUL. It provides good protection in the form of a death benefit and maybe in the form of long-term care, along with the potential of cash value growth. But as I talk to you, rightly so, you want to make sure that you have the confidence that the policy is going to perform at least very close to the illustration that you put in front of them. And that's the purpose of the innovation you're going to hear about today. We don't set out to create the latest and greatest shiny new products. We want to make sure that you feel confident that what we offer to you guys is a solution that makes you feel very confident that the protection will be in place when they need it, and that you have the most realistic probability that that policy will achieve the illustrated rates that you put in front of them. So that's why we choose to partner with carriers like John Hancock and partners like Annexus, because you really can't find this innovation anywhere else. And we're very, very happy to be able to have them as one of our tools in our toolbox for you guys to use. So without further ado, let's kick it to the stars of the show. Dan, Amy, Steve, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I'm Steve Poppy. We're good on my screen. Can you guys see that? Okay, looking okay. Can you see my presentation there? Thumbs up. All right. All right. Let's jump into it. Maybe you guys know. Maybe you guys don't know. A little bit of redo here. We'll go over a little bit, but who Annexus is. So Annexus is, first and foremost, Annexus is a product development company. We're here in Arizona. We're about 20 years old. We're an independent company, so we're not affiliated with any carrier. What Annexus means joining or bringing together. So what we bring together is we're bringing together product innovation. We're bringing together elite distribution like DMI. DMI, by the way, is our great distribution partner. This product and the Annexus products are limited access products. So congratulations for working with DMI. They've been with us for a very, very long time. They do a fantastic job. And I know I work with Josh extensively. He does a fantastic job. He could be a really great partner for you. And then it's just about strategic partnerships like John Hancock. I mean, you cannot have, and you cannot be any prouder of having a partner like John Hancock. They've never had an external partner in their 160-year history. So we're really, really proud to be working with them. So it's all about this innovation. We design innovative financial products for retirement and life insurance. We do that by, I said, bringing together innovation, distribution, and we really, our tagline, or not our tagline, but our motto, our whole being is better consumer outcome. We want to see your clients succeed. We want them to be happy they bought our product. So that means, excuse me there for a second. So we want your clients to achieve what you sold them. to them. And we want to do that through these smarter solutions, as Josh kind of alluded to. So, what we do here, just kind of a fun slide here I made up just to kind of do it, how we do it. Just like Shelby partners with Ford by adding innovation to traditional products, both of us customize the product for better results, trying to improve the outcome for your clients, for people. So we're working with Hancock, taking their already great product, and we're just trying to add a little bit of innovation, as Josh said, to help you meet or exceed the illustrated rate. That's, in a nutshell, kind of what Annexus does. So we at Annexus needed a death benefit product. We needed a death benefit IUL to complete what we call Annexus 360. We're known already in the marketplace for our accumulation products. And as I mentioned, Hancock is the perfect partner for bringing the stability, of course, financial strength. I mean, like who wouldn't want to have a life insurance product with John Hancock? I mean, right? And just great brand recognition. So we're proud to say, as I told you, we're the first external partner that Hancock's ever had. So I'm going to shoot the ball over to Dan, and you can take it from here, Dan, please.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. And thanks, everyone, for having me on. So what I'm going to cover here is just kind of the base product of protection IUL. So as was mentioned, so John Hancock offers the #1 selling protection IUL in the industry. It's recognized brand with over 160 years of experience, helping clients protect what matters most. Our behavioral insurance program, Vitality, was first of its kind innovation in life insurance. So again, more about protection IUL. So it's one of the most affordable indexed IULs on the market. So it offers upside potential of equity-linked performance with the downside protection of a guaranteed 0% floor. It also includes Vitality. And I think that this is one of the main differentiators between what, the other products that Annexus is on versus what we are offering here. Vitality gives clients a chance to earn savings, rewards for actions they'll take to live a longer, healthier, better life. We also have a comprehensive living benefit coverage for added financial protection against unexpected, say, long-term care, chronic illness, and critical illness benefit riders. So again, the two main, so first protection focused with the PRISM accounts, also John Hancock Vitality with also a robust living benefit package with the long-term care, chronic illness, critical illness. So what I'll do next, so I'll hand it over to Steve to cover the innovative S&P PRISM index accounts. But before we do that, there are additional index fixed account options available on our protection IUL. So customers have the flexibility of choosing their allocation based on risk exposure they are most comfortable with. So we offer a diverse range of index account options, including access to S&P 500 index and also the Barclays Global MA index. There's a guaranteed 0% floor, ensuring the policy will never experience a negative return. Also, competitive fixed rates that secure and steady growth. It's guaranteed to never be below the 1%. As you can see there, it's well over 4% here. So with that, now I'll hand it back over to Steve to cover the S&P PRISM.
Yeah, good job, Dan. And by the way, you guys, Hancock already has a great product. And this is if you sold the PIUL in the past, this is the same product you sold. We added on the innovation, which we're going to go over next. So you're going to have a lot of different options on this product to try to grow that cash value to make that policy work, right? And we at Annexus are really huge believers in diversification. We don't believe put all your eggs in one basket. So we're going to go over the PRISM, we're going to go over the booster, we're going to go over the innovation, things we're going to talk about next, I'm going to hit on. But I want to remind you, there's also some allocation opportunities here besides just the PRISM. You will find a good mix for you using a lot of these different indexes. I'm a big fan of the Barclays. I think the fixed interest rate is 5.45 currently. So somewhere in there is a nice allocation. I would recommend diversifying these policies. Give your clients a best chance of keeping that policy doing what you sold it to them for. So now we're going to transition into what we're going to talk about here. We kind of tipped it off a little bit at Annexus. So what we're talking about is when you look at, we're trying to increase the positivity of returns. And you'll see here in a minute by using the PRISM, by using the booster, how that can help. there's nothing absolutely wrong with an S&P, an S&P index. It's the gold standard, is great. But on an S&P index, what you'll find over the last 33 years, 73 times out of 100, you would have had a positive return. And that means 27 times out of 100, you wouldn't have a positive return. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. But what can we do? What can we do at Hancock do and Annexus do to make this more positive for your clients? So what we're going to talk about now is, first, we're going to talk about the PRISM. We're going to talk about the index. There's an index called the PRISM. That is the #1 performing custom index in the space. Its goal is to yield consistent returns in down markets, up markets, and flat markets. You're going to find it to be very stable and consistent. The #1 performing index, low volatility index, according to Bloomberg. And when you have these indexes that will work through a lot of different market conditions, it's really essential for long-term success of a policy. It's very important. Now, the booster, by the way, nobody else has it, and Nexus invented it. It's ours. You have access to it through this product, because you're working with DMI. So this is exclusive, and this is gonna help. You're gonna see here in a minute. It's really, really simple. I'm probably talking too much about it, but it's just a way of enhancing the return on the PRISM. So we're gonna boost, if you will, the return on the PRISM. So the PRISM itself is designed to work, and the strategy is designed to work. Because remember, in IUL or UL, you're going to have consistent expenses, consistent fees. So we want to make the crediting consistent to match those fees, to give it more stability, keep it from lapsing, give it more flexibility. More cash in the policy means a client maybe can pay 20 years instead of 25 years, or it could mean that if the client has to skip a premium, it can help with a lot of different things. So it's designed to work through a lot of different market conditions. So what you're going to get from it, how it's going to work, is you're going to get how the PRISM does with the index return. And by the way, it's contractually guaranteed to be uncapped. So you got the index itself, the PRISM, plus a 4% booster. So whatever the return is, plus 4%, and you're going to get a par rate on top of that. And I'll go over all the options here as I go forward. All right. So by bringing on the PRISM to the policy for your client and adding the booster, we've changed the magnitude. Now the chance of getting a positive return is 91 times out of 100. Right? So that, if you look at this way, I guess another way of looking at it, sorry about that. So what we did here at Annexus, this chart here represents 33 years worth of data, thousands of data points. We bought options every single day, basically every single day for 33 years. And we look at the return every single day over a 33-year period of time. So a lot of results here. So in the worst case scenario, if you just had a capped S&P index, you would have got about a 3% return. On the other hand, if you would have had the booster and the PRISM over that same period of time, look at that return, 8.6, right? And you can see that the average return kind of in the middle there. The average return, the S&P has been about 6. With the PRISM and the booster, you got about 10. So it just really changes the magnitude of the contract, making it more stable, more cash in the policy. More cash in the policy does wonders to a policy. So the PRISM itself is a multi-asset based index, okay? And it's designed by us and our partner. S&P is our partner. And I told you it's the #1 performing low volatility index in the space. One of the things that makes it so unique and works so well, it's a daily rebalancing. So it's the S&P 500, it's bonds and commodities. And every single day, S&P validates it and tracks it for us. They look at the market, and then that pie chart, if you will, on the left can change every single day. It won't necessarily change every single day, but it can change it. That's the secret to it. It's not that the S&P and the commodities and the bonds are that unique in themselves. It's just the way it's constructed. It makes the index so special and so innovative. So from that, then you can see that it's volatility controlled. The volatility is 5.5% or less. It's very much driven by allocation, by daily rebalancing. And what you're going to get from this, why it should matter to you, why it should matter to your client. Remember, this is in a life insurance contract, and we want that index to have consistent returns, because The expenses are going to be consistent. We want to give it stability. So what you'll find over time is the index, the PRISM itself, will be very stable and consistent. It will work. It has worked, and it should work through a lot of different market conditions. You can see the return, the average return since inception, excuse me, not including the booster, is over 5%. Okay, which is pretty spectacular. Now, if I look at that and compare, and this is really one of my favorite slides, any return, if I get a zero return in any other index, you're going to get a zero. In my situation here with the booster, remember, I'm going to get to put 4% on it, and I'm going to get to multiply it by a par rate. So now a zero return goes to 4.6. And any return of -3 or better, the client's going to get a positive return, right? Now, if I go down to the bottom, there's still this uncapped potential. We've had some really, really strong years as well. We've got 15% years. We've got 20% years. So also now, talk about increasing that cash value, increasing that flexibility, increasing that stability. You also got that upside. So if we had a 15% return, right, on a cap index, we're capped. That creates a cost for your client. In this situation, if we had a 15% return, you can see that 21% return growth in the policy. So kind of a real life performance since 2018, the booster and the PRISM averaged about a 10% return. And remember, Josh talked about, we're going to get into here in a minute about meeting or exceeding illustrated rate. We're going to show you in a minute that you can illustrate this contract at over 7%. So, you know, the track record is pretty good to feel comfortable doing that. Now, let's kind of look at this. How do you buy it? You know, what does it all mean? This is how you invest in it, if you will. Remember, the PRISM is uncapped, contractually guaranteed to be uncapped. The first opportunity is you get the PRISM. Whatever the PRISM does, it's a 1-year segment. It's point to point, and you add a 4% booster, and you get to multiply that return by 115% par rate. If you say, hey, I don't want the booster, you can have 235. Nothing wrong with that. And I'll show you where the transition point is. Maybe you say, hey, I don't need the booster. I'll take the higher par rate. Nothing wrong with that. And then also you got a 2-year segment, point to point. You get a 345% par rate. You can mix and match. Sometimes this question comes up a lot. Can I mix and match these, Steve? You can mix and match them any way you like. So you got the PRISM. You got one option, the PRISM, 4% booster, multiply it by 115%. You got the PRISM times 235 and a 1-year segment, and you got also a 2-year segment, PRISM times 345. And from that, then, this is really the favorite slide. This is in my Annexus. Many of you use my Annexus. We have a lot of marketing in there. As Josh started off the conversation so well a little bit ago, this really says it all. You can illustrate currently, the max illustrated rate is 7.1. Now listen, I've been selling life insurance since 1986. And I've been selling UL since 1987. I would never in a million years back in the day illustrate 7% if I could. It's too high, right? Puts too much stress on the contract, right? But in this situation, when I got a PRISM and a booster, all the actual return needs to be, if I'm going to use the 4% booster on the 1-year strategy, all the PRISM needs to do is 2.7. Remember, I told you what the track record has been, right? Or if I want to do the 235, all I got to do is around 3% return. If you guys don't think a manufactured custom index is going to do around 2 or 3% return, you shouldn't be selling these type of products. It makes it really easy on your client. It puts you in a position where you can under promise and over deliver, never have to apologize to your client, and put them in a position where the client is winning. That's what you're ultimately in the bottom line you're going to get from this product. I really feel like this product is really easy to sell because of all the features, the PRISM, the booster, the vitality, the name of Hancock, make it really easy to make a sale to the client. All right. I'm going to turn it over. Thank you for that. I'm going to turn it over to Dan. You might be muted, Dan.
Apologies. So now, thanks, Steve. So I'll cover Vitality. So Vitality is the first to market behavior insurance program designed to help clients. So for one, it's going to help them save money. So they can save up to 25% on their premium with Vitality Plus. So in a few moments, I'll have Amy, my colleague Amy, she'll cover some slides that show the benefit of that. They also earn rewards. So they get rewarded for everyday things they're doing, going to doctor's appointments, taking steps, everything they're doing to stay healthy. So these rewards include exclusive travel discounts, gift cards, healthy food discounts, access to Gallery multi-cancer screening tests, which is something we're proud of, and more, much more. It also is going to help them live longer, so preserve their family's financial future, which is going to help them live their longer, healthier, better lives, which again, that's something we're really shooting for. And again, we can handle, or we could do more training on Vitality in the future. We could, give marketing material. But what I want to cover now too, so Vitality is good for your clients, which we just discussed on the previous slide. So it's also good for you too. So now you can boost your compensation up to a total of 12 points when you sell protection IUL with Vitality Plus. So how's that work? So you increase your compensation when you issue a policy with Vitality Plus, or your client upgrades to Vitality Plus. So you receive 7 points when the policy is issued with Vitality Plus, or you can upgrade within the first 90 days. They receive an additional 5 points. You can receive additional 5 points when your client registers for Vitality Plus, and they have 1 year within the policy year date to do that. So I'll just review that really quick. So 12 total points. You get 7 points with having on the policy for issue with Vitality Plus, or they upgrade within 90 days. And then receive additional 5 points when the client registers for Vitality Plus, and that's within 1 year. So now what I'll do, I'm hand it over to Amy. She's going to cover a couple scenarios and go into some underwriting and sales ideas.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan. So this is piggybacking a little bit off of what Dan just mentioned, right? And obviously, Steve, we have a strong product by the nature of how we've always built this product. We have the partnership with Annexus and people like Steve, where we've conservatively illustrated it, right? I mean, going back a couple slides, Steve, right? I mean, we're looking at a 2 to 3% rate of return to get us these numbers. So very conservative assumption. Then you add Vitality to the conversation. The game changer, the difference maker, the only carrier out there to offer something like this that gives back to the client in some shared value way. Benefits us as a carrier. If somebody lives longer, benefits the client. They get more compensation for the agent. And then obviously from a pricing perspective, which you'll see here in a second, can significantly save them money. So what we see on the screen here is a typical sale we would see for a lifetime pay. In this scenario, without Vitality Gold being incorporated, usually we would incorporate Vitality Bronze in any sale. Vitality Bronze means that we've added the rider to our base product for $2 extra a month. Okay, so the base product with Bronze turns out to be, again, middle of the pack here, but small difference between the premium at the top versus us. How we've typically sold the product in the past, to Dan's point, is we highlighted the savings of premium that they could take into consideration, which is all great, right? Again, if we were to illustrate, assuming they actually engage with Vitality at a gold level, this does put us at the top of the spreadsheet, which is, again, a fantastic story if somebody's willing to do all those things. And if you wouldn't mind moving forward here, Steve, onto the next slide here. Yep, and again, this does have a guarantee in it already to age 90, which is fantastic. 92, a lot longer than most of our competitors here. But if you go to the next slide for me, Steve, what I also have been finding, oh, sorry, I don't know if this is inclusive of the sales idea slide. Maybe just one more. It's okay. I can just speak to it, Steve, if you want to go back to the presentation. What we've been finding some success with from a premium standpoint, design, when it comes to using the Annexus product along with Vitality, is we're illustrating that bronze premium from day one. And then we compare that to our cheapest option, maybe outside of ours. In that scenario, I believe it was Corebridge. Steve, if you want to pull up that presentation again.
Yeah, I'm trying. Sorry about that. Yep, hang with me.
No, it's okay. While there's a premium difference in the AIG product or Corebridge product versus ours, the opportunity that we've been working with is the conversation around if the client chooses to engage. What's nice about that is instead of taking that discount up front with the premium, we're actually going to let it use the credits for Vitality, which build up inside the contract to offset the duration of that required premium. So therefore, when you're comparing a number premium of X to a premium of X from day one, the opportunity cost could be, while yes, slightly more expensive, they could save a ton of money on the back end by paying up the policy. I believe in this scenario we had around age 80, 85, right? So you pay it up at age 80, 85 versus lifetime at the Corebridge product. And then we have a completely different conversation, right? Where the Corebridge product, you can never necessarily pay it up. So great story that we've been using Vitality to win against cases where you got to show the value beyond the spreadsheet. And with the partnership with Annexus and that conservative rate of return that we're illustrating or assuming, plus the partnership with Vitality. So I think the last slide we have here then, Steve, is just our underwriting slide.
Yeah, I don't see it, Amy. I apologize. For some reason, it's not there.
Okay. You know what? I might have it if we have 2 seconds. I can pull it up on my screen and share it if that's possible.
Yeah, I'm looking too.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Hey everyone, I'm going to ask a quick question while we're here.
Sure, please.
Is there an ideal age group for this product?
Is the question regarding protection IUL or Vitality?
I have no idea. It was just sort of a generic question. So if there's two different answers, maybe give us both.
Well, actually, the answer is very similar on both. It's anybody, right? You'd think that something like Vitality, for example, would be something that somebody at a younger age might find more appealing, right? They're going to benefit more. They're more into, sharing information to get a benefit back. What's ironic about that is the average age, I believe, for Vitality is somewhere in the upper 50s, lower 60s, and not to say that that's not young as well. But on top of that, right, it's the age group you necessarily wouldn't assume would be utilizing this. No, perfect. Right. So in that scenario, right, that's for anybody. We actually adjust the program to older ages as well, over age 70. When it comes to our product for Protection IUL, again, anybody who's looking to solve for max DB, it's a perfect sale for them. It's designed to outlive its life expectancy guarantees, and its value add for the client, again, especially with the Annexus design.
And then just one more, adding into what you were just saying, how do clients show or report qualifications in the Vitality program?
Great question, Maureen. So when it comes to Vitality, the biggest thing I would say when it comes to how you report to us is what you and how you choose to report to us. So there's lots of options. So somebody may choose, for example, every year you can get your biometrics taken. And whether that's the free version through Quest or you do it through your doctor, you could simply email them to Vitality and say, please upload them. You could upload them yourself on the app or on the website. So there's different ways to submit things. You don't have to wear a trackable. Sometimes that's one of the misconceptions with Vitality is you have to wear a Fitbit or an Apple Watch to get points. We did a lot of marketing around that upfront, so that's kind of on us that we created this misconception. But again, that's easy to wear a wearable because it automatically translates over to the steps and the points without you having to submit anything. But there's other ways to get points for that if they don't want to wear a trackable device. So again, depends on the client, depends on what they choose to do, but it can be a very nimble process in regard to how the client wants to interact with it. So
great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So to reiterate just that sales idea that I was running with before, this is the savings I was talking about, where if somebody engages with a gold level for the remainder of this client's contract. Now, in this scenario, a 65-year-old, this would be assuming they're engaging until age 80, which is the maximum age to engage with Vitality. So assuming they get gold every year, they could actually pay this up at age 89, which turns into a $539,000 savings versus Corebridge upfront. If they were to just engage with it for 5 years, not until age 80, there's still a $413,000 benefit versus paying for Corebridge for a lifetime in regards to the premium savings because you're paying it up early. So it's just these things behind the spreadsheet that puts John Hancock with Annexus and Vitality all at the forefront versus just looking at the spreadsheet. Thank you, Steve, for pulling that up.
You're welcome.
And then, yep. And then finally, if you just want to go to the next slide here, single pays, by the way, we're very strong in, just throwing that out there. Full pays, again, you'll see we become a little bit more in the middle of the pack, still the value add, but single pays always at the top of the spreadsheet. But when it comes to doing business with a carrier, product is fantastic. That's the driver sometimes, and having the conversation up front about which carriers you might want to look at. The second part of that is how easily can they get the case done? So at John Hancock, we've been doing a lot of improvements over the last couple of years to get cases underwritten and underwritten faster with using information that may already be used or done already by that client with their doctors, or again, from what we already know based upon searches. So there's a couple of things I just wanted to remind the team here and the advisors on the call here about. When it comes to submitting John Hancock cases, we have multiple ways to get it done quickly. The first thing I would point out, these first two options are all electronic options. So submitting through our e-app via iPipeline. So both of these options will be available to anybody submitting through those processes. The first one is called John Hancock Express Track. We've had that for quite some time. Made a lot of improvements on the algorithm behind the scenes over the last couple of years. But what that is anybody who is up to age 60, up to 3 million that submits through our e-app will be run through this algorithm to say, is this client standard or better based upon what we see? And can we move forward without labs or APSs? Again, that's an ideal scenario. The client doesn't have to submit anything. DMI doesn't have to submit anything as far as APSs to us. We can proceed to approving and issuing the contract right away. The other option that could fall into a bucket now, which we've opened up in the last year, is our EHR process. So say somebody does not fit within that age and amount parameter to get Express Track, or their health doesn't fit within that parameter, they could access EHR Express, which is up to 5 million, up to age 70, which is where John Hancock then at that point will go out and get EHRs. They will review the electronic health records and see if those APSs have significant labs or anything that's been done in the last year to cover them having to go out and get anything additional. So again, trying to get clients to not have to do anything they've already done. Worst case, in the EHR Express process, if they do not qualify based upon having all the labs that we need, maybe there's only 1 or 2 we're missing, we'll only request that DMI at that point, order those 2 labs that are missing. Or if they need everything, they just proceed as such. If there's more APSs needed, et cetera, we will request that as well. But again, we won't even ask DMI to go out and spend their time looking for something if we do not need it. So again, a faster process. And then finally, I just want to highlight our concierge underwriting process. So again, you have these massive cases and massive clients that may show up and you're like, I just want to get this done because they're such an important client to me. John Hancock has been the leader when it comes to concierge underwriting. We were the first company to really come out with something like this. Since then, some other carriers have come out with something similar. But where we're going to benefit here is we can actually issue up to our jumbo limits of 65 million, up to, again, they have to be a net worth of $10 million or more, but it's an informal process. So basically, DMI, in partnership with you all, would gather their records at least over the last 5 years, showing that they've done all the things that they should be doing, getting the right tests at their age appropriate stuff, and all of their labs that we would require from an underwriting perspective over the last 12 to 18 months, depending on age. And what we're going to do is we're going to review those records and say, we're good at any risk class that we feel comfortable with to proceed with formal application without them having to go out and do anything additional as far as labs or anything. So again, couple of access points here to get underwriting done faster than maybe how you would assume it could be done. And then you have the partnership of DMI to help along with that. So with that, I believe that that's all of our slides. Steve, if there's any questions we want to open it up for, Maureen or Josh or Glenn.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a couple more questions. Thank you so much. Can a client still access a cash value in this program in a policy that's focused on protection?
The answer to that question is yes. Now, is it ideal? No, because if the death benefit is what you're focused on, the moment you start taking cash out of it, that does reduce the goal, which is the death benefit. But that is the nice part about having a cash value life insurance policy versus, say, a fully guaranteed product, is that access to cash value inside that contract if you so need it. Just a matter of how much.
Yeah, and I'd piggyback off of that to say, even though your clients are telling you they just care about the death benefit or the long-term care benefit, they don't care about the cash. We're finding that most of them actually do, especially with some of these, we're paying significant premiums. And if you're asking them to put in $10,000, $20,000 a year or more, they appreciate seeing some equitable value show up on their statements, even if they may not use it. It makes a lot of sense to them. It shores up the value of the sale. So as Amy put it, yes, it's there, not truly designed for that, but it is there in case their needs should change. It just adds to the flexibility of the product.
Excellent. I do have another question. Is there a good way to present the benefits of the Vitality Rider to clients? Like, should you use a few illustrations at different vitality levels, or what is the best way?
It's a great question. I think it really comes down to, it should always be on there, right? So assume bronze, no matter what, that should be the first illustration ever showed to a client, right? Because the worst thing you ever want to do is not add it, show them one without it, and then they see that extra $24 a year being added and like, what's the difference? So it should always be assumed to run bronze. All right. So I'll throw that out there from the beginning. In regards to the benefit, it really comes down to, where would the client see value in it? I think that duration solve has been more successful than showing them the assumption up front that you're going to start showing them premium differences that they can pay, because you're adding an additional layer of, you kind of have to do it now because you've assumed you were going to, right? So it's like illustrating an 8% rate of return versus only getting a 7. You'd rather under promise, over deliver. Okay. So in that scenario, run bronze. You can show them how engaging with gold, again, could pay it up early. You can show them how it could grow the cash value to offset by crediting rate changes, negative ones, for example, right? How it can improve cash value for income purposes. And then again, you can always say, if they really think they're going to engage with it, say, okay, we can show the lower premium up front, but just set those expectations appropriately. So.
Yeah, I'll throw this out to you guys. Go ahead, Dan, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, also don't forget about rated cases as well. Vitality is very beneficial on your rated cases. Those clients are usually already going to the doctor. They're already doing things, and they can reap the rewards from having Vitality on a policy. And it can help you win you the sale by positioning it that way as well.
Yeah, you guys, I've become a huge fan of Vitality. I was at the John Hancock office. I learned more about the program. I mean, just things like, people tend to live 5 years longer that are participating in Vitality is a pretty, I mean, what wouldn't you pay to live 5 years longer, whether you had it on a policy or not? I mean, who wouldn't do that? You're finding that, like, a lot of people think, oh, just the younger people are using it because they're into the smartwatches and the Fitbits. It's not true. It's more people like my age are already working out. They're taking care of themselves because they have kids, grandkids, pensions, Social Security. They want to spend some of that money, that hard work. So they're out walking the dog. There's a lot of ways to get points, And it's just, it rewards the advisor 12%. Well, why not do that? It helps the client. That's win-win. And remember, we're trying to make sure this policy stays in force and helps the client, why they bought it for, get their money's worth. So I believe Vitality can do a lot of good things, a lot of great stories about it. There's a lot of great programs. The guy in my office has Vitality. He gets discounts on travel. He gets to spin this wheel every 6 months and gets these little discounts. So if you were like me and you were negative about it before, because back in the day I sold a lot, please open up your mind to it, because it's really, really a very, very innovative tool, fantastic tool. Hancock, my hat's off to Hancock. I think, as a matter of fact, off the subject, I think the federal government ought to come up with a program like this to reward people to get healthier somehow. That's kind of my 2 cents. But I love the Vitality. You guys, we talked about my Annexus. I pulled it up just so you can see it. I think you guys can see my screen, and then we'll let you guys get out of here unless you have any more questions. But Josh will invite you to this. You can get with Josh at DMI. He needs to invite you. This is called my Annexus. All the products we make are here. Today we're in the Hancock. Very easy to look at. You can see here's some videos to answer that question somebody had about Vitality. This guy's story is a remarkable story. You have to watch this video. It's cool. But just different, there's a presentation here you actually can download. Hancock is fantastic at giving you tools to help you make sales. Remember, unless you make a sale, this stuff is not worth your time. You got to be able to make the sale. So I want to give you good stuff to make sales. So this is what this is all about here, just to give you information to make sales. Down here, if you do want to run some illustrations, the software is here. And here's more about the product. All this marketing materials built by Annexus. Besides innovation, we have a fantastic marketing organization about the Vitality, long-term care rider. Long-term care rider, guys, is a no-brainer. Your clients need to be budgeting for long-term care. I think this is a fantastic way of doing it. But just a lot about the PRISM, a lot about the booster, a lot about a lot of stuff here. And here's all the different indexes. Here's the booster video. All that kind of stuff here. So a lot of tools here just to help you make some sales. and help your clients take care of the things they need to take care of. And with that, I will turn it back over to you guys.
Thanks so much, Steve. Hey, thanks to everyone. What a product. And I agree, Steve, if our government could just think the way Annexus and John Hancock does. So what a perfect marriage, these two companies, and a lot to unpack with this product or these products. So if you have questions, please get in touch with Josh. Let me share his contact information with you real quick. He is at 781-919-2325, JREM, RHEM at DMI.com. Josh, before we go, did you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, thanks, Amy, Dan, Steve. We love this product. But you've seen us do webinars with a number of carriers. So we suggest the best solution based on who's in front of you. So if they want protection, if they want an IUL that has the best protection, meaning some of the longest guaranteed death benefits, along with some innovative strategies to make sure that that policy will stay in force and the benefits will be there and it has great flexibility, we lean toward John Hancock. So come to us, tell us what you got in front of you. We've had a lot of success lately, of course, with some estate planning cases, some 1035 exchanges where we've done policy reviews, and this has worked very, very well there. And some people who just want to add additional benefits because there's a great long-term care rider on this product as well. So again, thank you. This may be worth some additional follow-up. If you have any questions, let's get really proficient with this because you can help a lot of clients with their protection needs with this product.
And one last thing, if you've got business owner clients or high net worth clients and you're concerned about the TCJA sunset, we've got some business wealth experts that are going to discuss advanced planning and that sunset, how you want to adapt and be prepared for that. So that is going to be another roundtable on December 4th at noon on Wednesday, at per usual. So looking forward to that one as well. But this was great, you guys. Amy, Dan, Josh, Stephen, the whole crew. Thank you so much. Really, really enjoyed it. And Maureen, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see everybody on the next one. All the audience members. Thank you so much for being here.